Good morning guys, welcome to Home Church Scotland. It's fantastic to have you with us. If you're joining us for the first time, you're especially welcome to be with us today. You're so welcome to be part of our family. Really excited for God to speak to us today. We're going to worship together. We're going to continue through our story of Joseph, and I believe today that God is going to do a powerful work in people's lives as you watch this today. We're going to start off with some worship. As we do that, can I just again encourage you to be participants, stand up, shout out, do whatever you want to do, but let's just connect with God. Let's focus on God and let Him do a work in our hearts today. Prepare ourselves to hear the word that I believe God has for us today. Before we worship together, let's just pray. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to be here today. We thank you for the breath in our lungs that allows us to praise you. And God, I just pray that you would work through the worship team. That you would, even although this is online and people are in their own homes and we're in our homes, God, would you just work through this service today and touch, change and impact lives. God, I pray that our worship would be pleasing to you this morning. Amen. Let's go, guys.
On the clouds, kings and kingdoms will bow down. Every chain will break, His broken hearts declare His praise. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before Him. Open up the gates, the way before the King of Kings. God who calls to save, see to set the captives free. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain, the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before Him. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? 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 No one. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before Him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before Him.
Stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father, it's who you are. It's who you are, it's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am, it's who I am, it's who I am. And I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers only you provide, because you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Love so undeniable, I can hardly speak. call me, deeper still as you call me, deeper still into love, love, love. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Guys, great to be back with you again this morning as we continue our story of Joseph. My thanks again to Des for speaking for us last week, bringing a word last week to give me a little bit of a rest. I'm going to be back with you for the next 2 weeks, and then I'm taking a 2-week holiday. So you'll still see my face on services because I'll be pre-recording them before I go. But the words will be brought. Darnell Starks will be speaking, and Mark Pawson will be bringing a message to you when I'm away. So I'm going to wrap up our series on Joseph over the next 2 weeks. A series that's been really powerful, a series that I believe has spoke to many people in many ways, and actually a series that has grown our church, has built our church. The number of emails we've had from people who have been away from church or have been feeling like they've not been growing for a while and they've really connected with us and they're wanting to be part of our church family moving forward is just wonderful. So I don't know when we're getting back to church, but I'm really, really excited about the thought of being back with everyone and can't wait to meet and give a hug to the new members of our family and just continue to see God do an amazing work in our church. Today we're going to be picking up from chapter 45. 2 weeks ago when I spoke, we spoke about how all the brothers came back to Egypt, including young Benjamin. Joseph, for me, was wanting to make sure that Benjamin wasn't being treated the way that he was, so he tried to sort things out to make sure Benjamin stayed with him by making it look like Benjamin had stolen something. But then what happened was, as we've seen at the end, Judah said to Joseph, Benjamin might deserve to be in prison, but take me instead. Judah offered to take his place, and at that point, Joseph realised that his brothers had changed. He realised that his brothers were changed men. They were not the same brothers that sold him into slavery. They actually now they were willing to lay down their life and their future for their younger brother. And at this point, Joseph broke down, and that's where we're going to start from today. Chapter 45. Before I read it, let's just pray. God, again, it's my privilege this morning to open your word. It's my privilege today to try and hear you speak through this and to explain it in as clear a way as possible, God, to challenge us, to encourage us, to change us, to equip us for living lives, our lives, for you. God, I pray that you would speak through me this morning. I pray that you would put your words in my mouth. And I pray that what you have to say would be of blessing to someone watching this morning. And as I always pray, and I make no apology for it, if anyone is watching today that doesn't know you, I pray that that would change. And I pray that today they would find and accept Jesus. Amen. So Genesis chapter 45, we're going from verse 1. it says, then Joseph could not control himself. This is at the point where Judah's offered to take Benjamin's place. Joseph could not control himself. Before all those who stood by him, he cried, make everyone go out from me. So no one stayed with him. And then Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, so that the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed at his presence. Here's the brothers. They had no idea this whole time that they'd been dealing with Joseph, who for his own reasons was, as we've said, slightly harsh on them. And why on earth would they believe that the kid, the 17-year-old kid that they sold into slavery, would be in charge of an entire nation, would be an equal to Pharaoh? They don't know the incredible, miraculous, life-changing power of God that's been at work in Joseph's life. They haven't seen it. They've been out of the picture. And here, after all this time, is this powerful man standing before them that they've been bowing down to, that they're at the mercy of. And here he comes out and he says, see that young kid you sold as a slave? It's me. I'm here. And it says they were dismayed at his presence. Of course they were dismayed at his presence. Can you imagine doing that to someone and coming face to face with him 20 odd years down the line? I can't think of many things worse. You're automatically going to think, we've done the most horrific thing to this individual. And now they have got the power over us to do whatever they want to do. Of course they were dismayed. They probably assumed, as most of us would assume, that they're in trouble now. They're going to get it now. Joseph, and again, with him being harsh to them, that's probably all playing in their mind. They're thinking, we're in for it now. We've treated him badly, and now we're going to get what we deserve. They must have been absolutely terrified at this point in time. But this is just another thing about Joseph that I love. We've learned so much from Joseph over the last number of weeks, and about how he honoured God and about how he just handled things in a godly manner. So this is what Joseph said to his brothers, verse 4, come near to me, please. And they came near. And he said, I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And this is incredible, this. And now, do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me here before you to preserve life. For the famine has been in the land these 2 years, and there are yet 5 years in which there will be neither ploughing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve a remnant on earth, and to keep alive for you many survivors. So it was not you who sent me here, but God. And I mean, this is just so powerful. We've been through, you've heard me say so many times what Joseph went through, but for those joining me for the first time today that have never heard about Joseph, this is a young brother, the second youngest of 12. He was a dreamer. He had some incredible dreams. He shared them once with his brothers, perhaps. Not that smart to share that dream, but the brothers put him in a well. They were going to kill him. And then they lifted him out and sold him as a slave. And then he got sold as a prophet in a guy called Potiphar's house. And he kept honouring God. And he didn't complain against God. He didn't get angry against God. He didn't get bitter against God. He just kept honouring God. So God raised him up. But then he was falsely accused. And he was thrown into jail for a crime that he didn't commit. And he was left there for years to rot. But he rose in power again in the prison because he didn't complain. He honoured God, he served God, and God done amazing things. And then these guys from Pharaoh's workforce, Pharaoh's staff, get put into jail, and Joseph helped them. And one of the guys said, when I get out here and restored to Pharaoh, I'm going to tell him about you. But he didn't. He forgot about Joseph, and Joseph was just left to grow old in a prison. But at no point did they complain against God. At no point did they get bitter. And of course, this terrible turn of events all happened because his brothers, who should have loved him, his big brothers who should have had his back, sold him into slavery. And here he is, faced with these brothers again after so many years. I mean, how would you have felt if it was you? I guarantee you, the vast majority of us would have been angry. The vast majority of us would have been bitter. And the vast majority of us would have been after some sort of revenge or retribution or recompense or something like that. Because that's our human nature, isn't it? But it's not the nature that God has given us. See, Joseph, he's not looking at this from a physical perspective. He's looking at this from a spiritual perspective. He sees that God had a deeper plan in it. And if you are a Christian today, there is a deeper plan. God has a plan for your life. And there's a reason why he puts us through the things that he puts us through. Joseph was able to look back and go, if I had stayed at home, if I hadn't been put through all of the things I get put through, then this famine was still going to come. And at the end of the day, we were all going to die anyway. We were going to lose everything. We would have been poor. We would all have starved to death. But actually, because of your evil, but God used that. And he's put me in this position. And now I'm able to provide all this food. And God sent me here to make sure that our family was safe. There was no bitterness whatsoever. He fully trusted God. And when I link that to even my own life, as many of you know, I've shared my testimony, over Tuesdays, and you've heard it, and I was bullied really, really badly at school. Really badly. I left school as soon as I could. And so was my son Aaron, right? And I think about that, and that was a really difficult time for me. It was a really difficult time for me to go through. But God was with me in it. And I'll tell you this now, as a 37-year-old, now you know what age I am, looking back, a young Dave back then being bullied. And I thought that was the worst thing that could be happening to me. I just wanted to be accepted. I just wanted to be part of the crowd. I just wanted some mates. I just wanted some acceptance. I just wanted some love. I just wanted to be involved in. But these things were going on and I wasn't involved in them. I was the outcast. But being the outcast actually kept me safe. I very early on learned that I had to rely on Jesus. And I've been relying on him and walking with him and trusting him and following him my whole life. And many of these guys that bullied me, they're not doing well now. Some of them are dead. Some of them are drug addicts. Some of them are in prison. Some of them done half decent. I'm not saying that they all, but for me, because I wasn't accepted by that group of popular kids, if you like what I looked at it at the time as a young man, I didn't get into drinking at the weekends. I didn't get into partying. I didn't get into drugs. I didn't get into all sorts of things that were dangerous for me because I wasn't accepted by that crowd. So to a young Dave, that was terrible. But to a mature Dave looking back on it, I'm so thankful to God, actually, that I went through what I went through. There's been a few times as I've been doing rookies and I've been working in all sorts of schools and I've been doing, the anti-bullying lessons that we do, and I've been approached by people that I've been working with kids, teaching them anti-bullying, whose parents horrifically bullied me. And then at the concerts, I'm face to face with this guy that made my life an absolute misery. And you know what? Some of them kind of ignored the fact that had happened, or maybe they forgot. Some of them were man enough to apologise. But in all instances, in all occasions, honestly, there was just no bitterness in me whatsoever. I shook their hand, asked them how they were doing. There's no hard feelings from me because I'm so thankful for where God has placed me today, and everything that I've been through, all the difficult stuff I've been put through, was to get me to where I am today. I shared with you all over the Tuesdays the story of how I lost my business, how I lost everything. There's probably more to the story. I can't remember what parts I actually shared, but somebody owed me a ridiculous amount of money. I wasn't paid serious amount of money, and that caused me major issues. That's really what sunk the business, was the fact I was owed so much money from someone that I never ever got. And I'll be perfectly honest, I was very, very angry at the time. If I'd met that person in the street, the business owner, I don't know how I would have reacted to it. But looking back on it, I can see God's hand through the whole thing. Because if that business had succeeded, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't have had rookies that has impacted 500,000 school kids all over Scotland. I certainly wouldn't have been pastor of the church here, and I wouldn't have seen all the lives changing that I have. I don't know about you guys. I'm watching Testimony Tuesday, and just past there, I'm seeing Emma Cook sharing her testimony. Tuesday before, seeing Sarah Moffat sharing her testimony. We can't take for granted that we are in a church where God is changing lives dramatically. He's transforming lives, and it's the greatest privilege going. And we're actually so blessed at Home Church that we're regularly seeing people give their lives to Jesus, and we're regularly seeing people change. And sometimes when you see lives changing as quickly as we are and as often as we are, you can start to take it for granted. There are other places where you might see one person saved every few years, and it's this big massive thing, and it should always be a big massive thing. But because it's happening so regularly with us, perhaps we don't see it for the miracle and the awesomeness that it actually is. But I'm watching these girls and everyone else that shared testimony about how they've grown in our church, and I'm thinking about the many people that were baptised. I'm thinking about the extension going in the build. I'm thinking about all the lives changed, and I'm going, I would not change that for any amount of money in the world. I wouldn't change it for anything else. I wouldn't change being where God wants me to be. I wouldn't change serving Jesus for anything else that the world has to offer. And so for me, when I look back at all the hardships in my life, I'm just thankful to God. So I don't know about you guys you're watching today. I don't know what you've all been through. I don't know what you're going through right now. But we need to understand, as Joseph understood, that God is in control. He's in control today. He was in control when that thing happened to you before. And He's in control of your future. You might feel mistreated by a friend. You might feel rejected by someone. God's saying to you today, that friendship was bad for you. You will have a better life without that friendship in your life than you would have had if you'd maintained it. There is a reason sometimes why God removes people from your life. There's a reason sometimes why God removes you from a workplace. There's a reason, always a reason, why God takes you from here and places you there. And we don't always understand it, and nor do we have to. I keep saying this, we just need to trust God. Joseph knew that God was in control so much that he could say, I hope you can't hear that car alarm outside my house, so much that he could say, it wasn't you that done this to me, it was God. We need to have that faith. And do you know what? I would love it if we knew that through the storm. It's so easy, isn't it? And some of us are good at looking back on things and going, I could see where God was working in that. I can see now, 5 years later, what God was doing. Can we try and get to a place, church, where we don't just see God retrospectively? We don't just see God at the other side of the storm, but we see Him before it and we see Him through it. Thinking about when the Israelites, it's funny this is the starter with the Israelites. These were the first Israelites in Egypt. And when you read about later on in Exodus, when Moses takes the Israelites through the Red Sea, and they were complaining before it, they were complaining like mad, oh, we'd be better off back in Egypt and all that, all the complaints of the Israelites. It's another story, I'm not going to go massively into it, but they got to the other side of the Red Sea, and they started singing a song about Moses and celebrating. It's so easy for us to celebrate when we get to the other end of something. But I want to encourage you, church. I want to encourage you, whoever you're watching today, we should be praising and worshipping and thanking God and trusting God before the storm, in the middle of the storm, and after the storm, not just after the storm. You want to know how you deal with a hardship in life? You praise God through it. You want to know how you deal with a difficult situation? You praise God and you trust God through it. There's no room in our lives for distrusting God, and there is no room in our life for not looking at things from a spiritual perspective and looking at things from a physical perspective. See, Joseph looked at this from a spiritual perspective and could say that was God that done that. If he'd looked at this from a physical perspective, he would have, this whole time, everything was happening to him for 20, he would have been bitter, he would have been angry, he would have been plotting revenge. And ultimately his brothers thought he was dead. That wouldn't even have affected his brothers, it would just have affected him. And that's what unforgiveness in our life does. If you're holding a grudge against someone today, they probably don't even know you're holding that grudge. But it's eating you alive. It's tearing you to bits. If you're watching this today, and you've got anger and bitterness in your life because of something that was done to you, or something that happened to you in the past, I encourage you, stop looking at it from a physical perspective and start looking at it from a spiritual perspective. Stop being angry for that thing that went on before and simply give it to God and thank Him for removing you from that situation. It's in the past. And through what you've learned, through it, God can use you to help other people. Or God can use you for a situation because of what He's taken you through, because of what He's taken you out of. We need to look at things spiritually and not physically. And we need to praise God before the storm and through the storm, not just after the storm. The passage goes on. Joseph's telling the brothers what happened. He's made me father to Pharaoh, lord of his house, ruler of all the land of Egypt. Hurry, go and tell my father and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, God has made me lord of all of Egypt. Come down, do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen. You shall be near me, you and your children and your children's children and your flocks and your herds and all that you have. There I will provide for you. For there are yet 5 years of famine to come, so that you and your household and all that you have do not come to poverty. And now your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see, that it's my mouth that speaks to you. You must tell my father of all of my honour in Egypt, and all that you have seen. Hurry, and bring my father down here. Then he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck, and he wept. And Benjamin wept upon his neck. And then he kissed all his brothers, and he wept upon them. And after that, his brothers talked with him. I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it? There's no anger. There's no malice. There's no grudge. He kissed his brothers. He just loved his brothers. And that's what God tells us to do through the Bible. He tells us to love our neighbours. But actually, Jesus took it further than that. He said we've to love our enemies. We've to love those and pray for those who persecute us. If honestly, maybe someone's watching today and you've got bitterness in your life, you've got anger in your life, you've got stuff going on that you've never let God deal with. If that's you, I want you to contact me at the end of this service and we're going to pray with you and we're going to help you through that. You need to deal with any unforgiveness you've got. This year is a perfect example of how we have to deal with it. We need to let people know we've forgiven them. And you know what? It doesn't matter whether they want your forgiveness, whether they accept the forgiveness, whether they accept that they've even done something wrong. Actually, you don't even forgive other people for their benefit. You need to forgive them for your benefit, because you can't have any of that baggage and garbage in your life. We need to get rid of it. So that's what Joseph done. That's the example that he sets us. And then verse 16 it says, when the report was served in Pharaoh's house that Joseph's brothers had come, it pleased Pharaoh and his servants. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers, do this, load your beasts and go back to the land of Canaan. Take your father and your households and come. I'm going to give you the best of the land of Egypt. You shall eat of the fat of the land. And you, Joseph, are commanded to say, do this, take wagons from the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives, and bring your father and come. and have no concern for your goods, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. And this, again, I've said before that the story of Joseph, it's a picture, it's an image of really what Jesus has done for us. What did the brothers do to deserve this? There's a famine in the entire world. People are in a terrible state. They're 2 years in, and these guys have been struggling for food. And all of a sudden they're told, don't even bother about your possessions, but we're going to bless you so much. We're going to give you the best of the land of Egypt. We're going to give you as much food as you want. And you know what? Take wagons and bring your family back. If we look at that and just think wagons, that's like today sending an Egyptian wagon getting sent for the Joseph's family is like sending a private air jet now. It's that big a deal. It's despite what his brothers done wrong, despite their sin, despite their lies, despite their murderous intent, despite all of that, it's like the slate is wiped clean. None of it matters. There's no grudges held. Not a single thought about holding a grudge. They get kissed on the necks, they get hugged, they get held, they got forgiven, and then they got the grace of having the best food in the land, the best place in the land to live, houses, possessions, wagons, all of that stuff. And that's what Jesus does for me and you. We've done things in the past. We've had horrible intent. We've had horrible thoughts. We've all sinned. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It doesn't matter who you are. But this is what we get when we come to Jesus. We get our sins forgiven and we get our lives changed. And we just get this incredible grace poured out on us that we don't deserve. We get gifts from God. We get blessed. We get so much love poured out on us. It's incredible. There's no record of our wrongs. In the same way as Joseph hugged his brothers and says, it's all right, I forgive you. That's available to you today through Jesus. Living with unforgiveness in your life is one of the worst things you can do. And I've talked about how we need to forgive other people. But maybe today you need to forgive yourself. Maybe today you need to accept that you're forgiven. See, Christians, we can be brilliant at telling other people, Jesus can forgive you, it doesn't matter what you've done. But we live bound up in our own guilt and our own shame for the things that we've done in the past. If you're a Christian today, or even if you're not yet a Christian today, and you're struggling with some of the things that you've done, some of the things that you've seen, some of the things that you've thought, some of the situations you've been through, and you can't forgive yourself from it, Jesus has already forgiven you from it. Jesus forgave you for that thing you did wrong. Jesus forgave you for that sin you committed 2,000 years ago when he was nailed to the cross. And he still loves you today. He's alive and well today. And he's sitting at the right hand of God and he's just saying, forgive them, Father, forgive them, forgive them, forgive them. Forgiveness is available for you today, just as it was then. Allow your life to be changed in a way that these guys' lives were changed. Their lives changed overnight. They went from being starving. They went from thinking that their brother was dead. They went from not knowing how they were going to get their family through this famine, how they were going to provide. They were lost. They had no hope. They had no hope. And overnight, they found that their brother was alive. They found that their brother had forgave them. They get given chariots. They get given food. They get given donkeys. They get given gifts. They were allowed to bring their family down to be provided for in the most miraculous way. It's an incredible turnaround. And in that same way, God can turn your life around today. Jesus can change your life today. It doesn't matter where you think you're at. It doesn't matter how bad your situation is right now, and it does not matter what you have done. If you accept Jesus today, your life will turn around and your life will change just as the brothers' lives changed back then. Verse 21 says, the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them provisions for the journey. To each of them, he gave a change of clothes. And that's just a symbol of newness, of freshness. Take off the old clothes, put on the new clothes. You're with me now. And again, that's just what Jesus does. The old is gone. The dirt, the sin, the guilt, the shame, the grief, the envy, the bitterness, it's gone. And Jesus reclothes us with love and with peace and with joy and with grace and with all manner of wonderful, wonderful things. Jesus doesn't just change our clothes today. He changes all of us. He changes us from the inside out. Let him do that in your life. To Benjamin, he gave 300 shekels of silver and 5 changes of clothes. To his father, he sent 10 donkeys loaded with good things from Egypt, 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, provision for his father on the journey. And then he sent his brothers away. And as they departed, they said to them, don't quarrel on the way. And in other versions, it says, don't be troubled as you go. I'm going to finish on that actually. Let me just finish the passage and I'll come back to that. So they went up out of Egypt. They came to the land of Canaan, to the father of Jacob. They told him Joseph is still alive. He is ruler over all the land of Egypt. And at this, his heart became numb. Jacob's heart became numb, for he did not believe him. But when they told him the words of Joseph, when they had said to them the words, and when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Do you need a revival in your spirit today? Jesus can give you that. And Israel said, Jacob said, it's enough. Joseph, my son, is alive, and I'll go and see him before I die. And that's how the passage ends. But that bit Joseph said as he was sending his brothers back to get the father, don't be troubled as you go. Because it would have been easy for them to, all sorts going on in their head, and they go away from Joseph and they start thinking about all the things that they've done wrong. They start thinking, is this a trick? Is he wanting us to bring dad down, and then he's going to... I mean, what must have been going on in their head? I can't even begin to tell you. Again, it just speaks to me of, as Christians, honestly, we can be so bad at accepting the forgiveness of Jesus. You might believe in Jesus, but you've not accepted fully his forgiveness. You've not accepted the fact that you're forgiven. You're living a troubled life. There are things right now in your life that trouble you. Jesus tells us to cast our burdens upon him, to give our burdens to him. And there's Christians all over the world, and probably Christians in our church, I hope not, but possibly Christians in our church that are carrying things that Jesus died to save them from. Jesus died so that you could be set free, so that you would know you're loved, so that you would know you're forgiven. So if you're living a troubled life, if you're living a life of not fully accepting that forgiveness that Jesus died on a cross to give you, I'm going to honestly ask you to get praying before God today and thank Jesus for that forgiveness. Stop living in fear. Stop living in guilt. Stop living a troubled life. Jesus died to save you from that. He can set you free from all of it. And as I've said, he can reclothe you. He can cleanse you from the inside out and change your life entirely. So if you're watching this today and you're not a Christian, but you know your life's messed up, something ain't right, and I'm not just talking about drugs or drink or depression, but it could be that. But tell you, the richest of people that you look on from the outside and think they've all got it together, if they don't know Jesus, they've got the same emptiness inside them as what you've got. If you don't know Jesus, there is an emptiness in your life. There's a lostness. in your life, there's stuff that just doesn't add up and there's stuff that just doesn't make sense. If that's you today, I want to tell you clearly and emphatically that Jesus changes lives. He's changed mine and He can change yours. All you have to do is not even ask Him because He's already done it. You just have to accept it. You just have to accept that forgiveness. Just pray to Jesus. Jesus, thank you for dying for me. I want to accept your forgiveness, and your life will drastically change forever. You might be watching today and you've been a professing Christian for years, but you've never really fully accepted the fact that you're forgiven. There's still some things in your life, whether it be guilt, whether it be unforgiveness towards yourself, whether it be unforgiveness towards others. There's still some things going in your life that Jesus died to set you free from, but they still have a hold over you. If you fall into either of those categories, Christian or not, and you need Jesus to do a work in your life today, to change something in your life today, I'm going to ask you to reach out to me. I'm going to ask you to type me right now, or wherever you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, just type me in the comment section. Or you can send me an email, dave@homechurch.scot. Or check us out on Facebook. You'll find us under Home Church Scotland. And myself or one of the team will be in touch with you today. We'll pray with you. You can do that via video call or phone or however works for you. We'll pray with you. We'll encourage you and we'll help you onto that journey with Jesus. Let's just pray. If you're watching just now, please let's close our eyes and just seek God, everybody. Lord Jesus, we come before you today in thankfulness for who you are, in thankfulness for what you've done. And God, we just humble ourselves before you. Jesus, I would ask you today, right now, would you speak to our hearts? Would you speak into our lives? God, if there's anything that we are holding on to, that you died to set us free from, God, I pray that you would reveal that to us right now. If there is unforgiveness in our hearts, if there is bitterness in our hearts, if we are struggling to forgive ourselves, anything, God, that might be even to a small extent separating us from you in any way, God, would you speak to our hearts today? Would you speak into our souls today? And would you give people that knowledge of the situation, but also the courage to reach out? The courage, the bravery to reach out and be prayed for and say, yeah, that's me, but I want to change it. I don't want that to be me. I don't want to live like that anymore. I'm not going to be bound up anymore. I want to live in the fullness of freedom that Jesus died to give me. Jesus, would you speak to people right now and make it clear that they have to respond today? Amen. Guys, please just get in touch if that's you. If Jesus has spoken to you right now, if you know in here that you've got to respond, do not let today go by without doing that. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll finish our story of Joseph next week, and I look forward to seeing you then. God bless you.
Hey guys, it's Alex here. Thank you so much for joining us again this morning, or whatever time you're watching this. Basically, just a wee quick rundown of actually what's happening over the next couple of weeks. We have some really exciting stuff happening here at Home Church, and so in September we'll be launching again our big weekend of what we've been doing the past 2 years. So it'll be like celebrating Home Church's first birthday in September. So please join us. That is the weekend of the 12th and the 13th of September. So on the Saturday we are hoping to do a service with one another, but this is only if this keeps with restrictions and the kind of lockdown requirements. So again, if we're allowed, we'll be going forward to do an outside service with the social distancing in place. But so we're really looking forward to that, so please be praying for that to go ahead. But then also Testimony Tuesday is again happening this Tuesday at 7:30, so join us on YouTube or Facebook for that. But straight afterwards at around 8:30 we're also going to be having a Zoom quiz this time, so we're changing it up and we've got a quiz, so please join us for that. It's actually going to be we've got 2 final Testimony Tuesdays left, and then our team, we're going to be just taking a break, kind of like a summer hiatus, I guess, just for a wee bit, just to rest up. So that is also going to be kind of the close to home groups. So we've got another 2 weeks. That's roughly, I think it's the 20th of July, week commencing the 20th of July is really our final week, and then everything will be kind of relaunching and starting back up with our big weekend in September on the 12th and 13th. So yeah, so keep in tune for that. Don't forget about the quiz. Yes, and also what is big about the big weekend is the fact that actually we are launching live streaming on the 13th of September. So we'll be coming to you live from a small collective group from home church, actually live streaming rather than our previously recorded and kind of being streamed out in the morning. We're actually going to be going for the live, the real deal. So yes, so it's really exciting stuff on the 13th of September, that is the Sunday. But also with that service and with that weekend, actually, if you are new to the church, if you've been joining us, if you are feeling a part and welcome, and actually you're really feeling like you want to commit and become a member, then please be in touch with us at info@homechurch.scot. That's similarly to if you want to make the dedication and get baptised and actually nail your colours to the cross, then also please be in touch with us at the same email address, especially those that haven't been baptised and we're planning to back in March and April. Please be in touch, and we'll try obviously get you guys in with the deal as well in September. So we've got exciting things coming in September. Honestly, we cannot wait. But again, thank you so much to those who have been giving, not to do with the building fund, although very grateful for that too, but actually just general giving. Everything is very similar. So if you want to head to our website and give monthly, then that is still set up in place. So that's homechurch.scot/giving. You can head over there and just donate monthly or a one-time offering, or either, whatever you feel you've been led in your heart, what you have peace with. But thank you so much to everyone who has been continuing to give and also give to the building fund. It's just muchly appreciated. But that is us for the rundowns this over the next kind of summer, because we're kind of in our summer now, but it's raining here. But yeah, so thank you again for joining us today, wherever you are watching, and we are just going to finish up now with one final hymn. Thank you, worship team.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.